Hi everybody, hope you're all doing okay. Um, I came online because I'm kind of bored right now, and I was thinking it might be interesting to show you guys the original version of the Practical Magic starter deck. So if you don't already know, I created this in 2017. I didn't start selling it till 2018, but I made it, I think, late 2017 as a personal project. It really wasn't to sell at all. So it was just for me, and yeah, it was just something to keep me busy, I guess. On my latest post on my feed, I talk about my friend Awi. She's at Your Heart Crafted Life here on Instagram, and she's the person who really encouraged me to push through with my deck. She was the first person to see like the bare bones version of it, which I'm gonna show you right now. So I created the images in 2017, and then I just kind of forgot about them. I put them up in the cloud because they were taking up too much space in my hard drive. I rediscovered them like a couple months later and thought, why not? Why not try printing them? One of the clients I was on retainer with at the time had a really cheap printer. So I got in touch with them, asked them if they could print cards for me, and I didn't really specify what kind of cards. I just said cards. And so I sent them the file, and like one of the clients I was on retainer with at the time had a really cheap printer. So I got in touch with them, asked them if they could print cards for me, and I didn't really specify what kind of cards. I just said cards. And so I sent them the file, and like a couple days later, they sent me this. So this is the first version, and it's raw, of the deck. When they sent it to me, they didn't print everything, so I had to wait another day to get the whole thing. But yeah, this is it. The backs look the same, but if you compare it to the actual deck, it's about twice as thick. And this is because I really didn't specify what kind of cardstock to use. If you're familiar with the Sintra board, I think that's actually the material they used. It's like they use it for menus a lot, and yeah, it's waterproof. I think it's laminated really thick. And if you have the deck, you'll be surprised, like, what the hell is this? This was the original Seven of Wands. So yeah, that is the original Temperance. I'll take shots of the card comparisons to show you. Raw. Some you'll see they're very similar. Like the Wheel of Fortune, the current one just doesn't have this. Death is also very similar, except it's a little more purple toned now. The Sun was super psychedelic. And then, yeah, it's quite different. And this one has just a different background. It's interesting to see how the cards have evolved over time. It's really quite fun to see all the cards now, because like I haven't looked at these cards since, I guess, early 2018, because I started selling the deck April of 2018. Yeah, but this was like, so yeah, the cards are very thick. It was impossible to shuffle, but I think it was important for me to go through this step to actually realize that this was something that I could really do for myself and for other people. And yeah, I mean, at least when I had this, I had something physical to show to Awi, and when she saw it in person, that's when she was pretty convinced that it was something I could really venture into. Some cards took a lot more work than others. So these are like the first versions of the Five of Pentacles and the High Priestess. And then when I tried another printer, so I changed it up. So this was the first, and then this became the second Five of Pentacles. This is the first High Priestess, second High Priestess, Two of Wands, second Two of Wands. What's this? Three of Wands, Three of Wands. And if you're familiar with the deck, you'll see that these aren't actually the final versions. I ended up changing them again. For others, the changes were more subtle and then drastic. Like Six of Pentacles started with this, it became this because I added a flower, and then it became totally different in the final version. It became pink. Five of Cups is another example. So started out like this, and then I wasn't happy with the background because of the color, so I changed it to this. Then I wasn't happy because it seemed too plain, so I added this for the final version. So the first print run of the cards, I only printed 11 decks because one was for me and 10 were for friends. And yeah, I really didn't think that anyone beyond the 10 friends would actually want the deck. But yeah, I was super surprised that other people were interested in it, interested in something I did, and interested in tarot at all. Yeah, so there are 10 people out there with the original cards. So if you see someone post, sometimes they see how come like the Emperor is different or Justice is different, it's because they're one of the first 10 with the deck. I think it's important to share this, especially with people who are thinking of creating their own decks, because there might be a lot of pressure thinking that you gotta get it right at the first round. But at least in my experience, I went through 3 rounds before I finally ended up with something that I'm happy with. And I guess it can cost a little bit more because you print samples and all that, you make mistakes, but yeah, it's part of it, at least in my experience. Another interesting bit is, so this is the fold out that comes with every deck that explains how to use it and then lists all the meanings. This was originally this size, and it was like a booklet. So really like a zine, because that was my inspiration for this. But yeah, I did this for the first 10 people who have decks, and then quickly realized that it would not be sustainable for me to print this using my printer at this size if I was gonna sell more than 10 decks. Yeah, so I just reduced everything to this size. And this was laid out by my friend Steph. Yeah, she's an art director. So those are all the cards and the guides. And yeah, I hope this behind the scenes look was interesting for you. It was definitely interesting for me to trace back my steps. I've had this deck for 3 years now, so it's easy to take it for granted because I use it all the time. And yeah, I forget how things were in the beginning. So yeah, thank you for giving me something to do tonight. Hope everybody is staying safe and yeah, is feeling well. So bye-bye.